said this in the year 1900. The Great Spirit is our Father, but the earth is our mother. She nourishes us. That which we put into the ground, she returns to us, and healing plants she gives us likewise. If we are wounded, we go to our mother and seek to lay that wounded part against her to be healed. Animals too do this, and thus they lay their wounds on the earth. So when we go hunting, it is not our arrow that kills the moose, however powerful be the bow. It is the nature that kills him. The arrow sticks in his hide, and like any living thing, the moose goes to our mother to be healed. He seeks to lay on the wound against the earth, and thus drives the arrow farther in. So here we are in the year 2012, reminded of the indigenous example. How do we return to that balance and find our center? The good news is we've never really lost it. We've just forgotten it. It resides within all of our inner children, in that innate, intuitive, instinctual place within us. It's been drowned out by the incessant noise generated by a society restlessly, relentlessly searching and seeking for they know not what. Wanting an answer for a life that lacks authenticity in a very artificial, sterile, virtual world, where they're increasingly isolated from everyone and everything. Underneath it all, the answer has been here all along. So turn off the TV, or mute it if it's on, and turn off the computer and the talk radio too. Quit letting special interests define your world and tell you your potential is limited. Reconnect with the earth and start living your life instead of letting life live you. Find meaningful projects and groups and make a positive difference right where you are. In Native American oral tradition, there's a story about the greatest gift of all, the Creator. The Great Spirit had a gift he wanted to give to mankind, but mankind was not ready to receive it yet. So he gathered the animals together and he asked them, "Where can I hide this gift until I am ready to give it to them?" And the eagle said, "I will take the gift and I'll fly all the way to the moon and I'll put it on the dark side of the moon and man will never find it." And the Great Spirit said, "No, he'll be flying there in a few centuries, so he'll find it and it'll be too soon." And then the buffalo said, "I'll take it out onto the prairie and I'll use my hoofs to dig a really deep hole and put it there. He'll never find it." And the Great Spirit said, "No, he'll be there soon too, and he'll use his plow to open the ground and find the secret before he's ready for it." And then the owl said, "I know," and he called the Great Spirit over and whispered in his ear. And the Great Spirit turned and said, "Yes, that's it, I know. I'll put it inside of them. They'll never think to look there." And in a sense, that's true because we have forgotten to look to our essence. Young chief of the Cayugas in 1855 shared this thought. "I wonder if the ground has anything to say. I wonder if the ground is listening to what is said. I wonder if the ground would come alive and what is on it. Though I hear what the ground says it is the Great Spirit that placed me here. The Great Spirit tells me to take care of the Indians and to feed them aright. The Great Spirit appointed the roots to feed the Indians on. The water says the same thing. The Great Spirit directs me, feed the Indians well. The grass says the same thing, feed the Indians well. The ground, water, and grass say, the Great Spirit has given us our names. We have these names and we hold these names. The ground says, the Great Spirit has placed me here to produce all that grows on me, trees and fruit. The same way the ground says, it was from me man was made. The Great Spirit is placing men on the earth and desired them to take good care of the ground and to do each other no harm. One of the reasons that we're so out of balance culturally is we aren't grounded, literally. Take your shoes and socks off and go barefoot in the ground and connect with the earth and draw up its energy. One of our essential disconnects in an out-of-touch society is that we need to get back to our roots. All over the world is happening right now. People are reconnecting. It's up to each of us individually, our own personal responsibility, to go out and do our part. We are who we've been waiting. We are the ones that we've been waiting. Where there's pure intention and sincere belief, miracles happen, and I've experienced them. Think globally and act locally. Buy local produce and products. It supports the local economy, cuts down on transportation costs, and the produce is fresher. Become interactive and network, and you'll see that we all have much more in common than we have that separates us. Finally, a parable and some final thoughts. There was a man who trained a frog to jump higher than any frog had ever jumped. And he took that frog all over the world, and he amazed everyone. And near the end of the life of that frog, someone suggested the idea that since he had trained him to jump, what would happen if he removed the frog's legs? What would the frog do when he told him to jump? So he humanely removed the legs, if that's possible. And when he said jump, the frog just laid there. And all the scientists that observed it ran off and wrote a report, and the name of the report was, "Removing the Legs of a Frog Makes It Go Deaf." We don't know what makes the frog jump. The best minds, our best scientists can only tell us that we are in uncharted waters. Well, coincidentally, the frogs, along with the bats, the bees, and a number of other species, are among the first disappearing in what has now been defined as the 6th mass extinction that we know of on record. And it's underway right now. It's the first to be caused by a species, humans, and we may be on the list. We don't know what makes the frog jump. There's still time, but it's up to each and every one of us. And as I said, we have teachers all around us. Our animals can show us the way. Did you know that there were no wild animals killed during the tsunami in Indonesia a couple of years ago? They all felt the vibration of it coming and moved to higher ground. Animals also don't despoil the environment. They don't kill their own species. They know their source, and they don't fear death. They also love unconditionally. Sounds like we've got a lot to learn from our pets. We've been sold a bill of goods in our culture by special interests in the government, and it's time to demand our money back or demand that they make it right. In quantum physics, vibrations that I have mentioned are in everything. And the Earth has its own quantum frequency, a signature vibration called the Schumann resonance. And it's always been 7.8 cycles per second. Recently, recordings have indicated that it's increased to 8.6 cycles per second and is continuing to increase, even though we had thought 7.8 was a constant. The Earth is recalibrating under the ecological strain that we're causing with our insatiable addiction for more. We don't know what makes the frog jump. Mother Earth is calling out to her children to heal her and to heal us at the same time. It's almost Mother's Day. So let's all pledge to give a lasting gift to our Earth Mother. And I have one last reading here. It's very brief. A great hunter, brave warrior, and eloquent spokesman, Crowfoot was born in 1821 at the Blackfoot Crossing on the Bell River, now territory in the province of Alberta, Canada. He quickly rose as an orator for the Blackfoot Confederacy. In September of 1877, on behalf of his nation, he unwillingly but trustfully ceded 50,000 square miles of his prairie land to the Canadian government, a treaty which led to the rapid disappearance of the government and near starvation. In April of 1890, in his dying hours, his last words were this of life. What is life? It is the flash of a firefly in the night. It is the breath of a buffalo in the wintertime. It is the little shadow that runs across the grass and loses itself in the sunset. Margaret Mead, who inspired my interest in anthropology with her book Coming of Age in Samoa, said, "Never doubt a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only way that it ever has." So take your shoes and socks off and stand on God's green earth and click your heels together and say, "There's no place like home." It's up to you. Thank you. Namaste. And now I'd like to call my friend Ellen Wara up to speak about one of those groups that you could become involved in. It's the Pachamama.